All right, good morning. Yesterday we talked about how we can use the move tool and how we can use the other tools we have on the hardboard, the hardboard tools here, and how we can use the steps tool. Today I will quickly go through all other tools that we have. Now we have what we call the rectangular marquee tool here. Rectangular marquee tool here, and when you click on it, we have elliptical marquee tool, single row marquee tool, and single column marquee tool. All these things are used for editing. For example, let me bring in a picture. For example, let's say I want to cut. Let me place an embedded file. Let me bring out a picture, a picture. Okay, let's assume I have this picture on my screen, and I wanted to use this picture, but I want to use some part of this picture, not all this picture. You can use the tool here, rectangular marquee tool and elliptical marquee tool, to make some selections around the area you want to use. For example, I'm taking the rectangular marquee tool. Now, whenever you place an object, the object that is placed on the page is usually a smart object. What do I mean by a smart object? If you look at this object, there's a small rectangle on this object too. Now, this smart object will not allow you, the smart feature will not allow you to edit this picture directly. So you need to first rasterize this picture. Now, for example, if I attempt to make some selection and I click on File, Edit Cut. In fact, the cut is not active. Why? Because I'm working on a layer that is a smart object. So how do you do that? You right click on it and you rasterize the layer. Rasterize layer. Now after the layer has been rasterized, if I make a selection now and I click on edit, you can see that the cut is active now. Now you can see then edit again to paste. Now immediately you paste the object, you can click on your move tool to move it from one place to the other. Immediately you place now a new layer will be created. So this is a former layer, or the old layer. You can delete it. Yes, you can delete it. Now towards the bottom side there we have the delete tool, which allow you to delete a layer that is not needed. So, and again with this elliptical marquee tool, rectangular marquee tool, we were able to cut part of the picture to make a selection of the area. The same thing, for example, look at this page at this layer as it were. For example, if I want to fill this layer, I can make a selection around the area that I want to apply my color to. Now I can make a selection like this. Let's say I can now say edit, fill. Now, when you click on edit fill, we have what we call the foreground color. If you come down here, this top one is called the foreground color and this is called the background color. I can decide to change the color to use my home color. Let's say I want to use blue. I want to use deep blue. I can say okay. You can say edit fill. You can see now, that means the selected area alone will be affected. Those are ways by which we use elliptical marquee tool, and you can come down to select, deselect, because if you don't deselect, anything you want to do will be affecting this area alone. Deselect. Now we have filled the layer with the elliptical marquee tool. We have filled a portion of the area with the elliptical marquee tool. The same thing you can do with image, but as time goes on, we work more on the image. That's how to use the elliptical marquee tool. Also, if this is the rectangular marquee tool, the same thing with the elliptical marquee tool, you can form a circle and paint it. The same way with the single row marquee tool, we just take a row, single rows, like single line. This one is single color. That's how to use. Now we have the lasso tool. The lasso tool we have lasso tool, we have polygonal lasso tool, we have magnetic lasso tool. These tools are used on pictures. You can use it to make a selection around an object. It's similar to marquee tool, but lasso tool. Let me see. Let's place another picture. Place an embedded picture. Let me go to my picture. Okay, let me use this my picture for example. Now let's look at this picture for example. You want to edit this picture. We want to edit this picture. We want to change the background color of this picture. You can use the tools here. Now, the first thing you do is to what? Rasterize the picture. Now, click on lasso tool. If you click on lasso tool, you have to start make your selection. Now, when you click, you must hold down your mouse to use the uh, select. Now, this lasso tool, for it to work, you must hold down your mouse, you must click, and you must hold down your mouse till you drag. Hold down the button that is click. But this is not perfect for beginner. So most of the tools you will be learning is you have to practice this a lot of the time by yourself. You can use polygonal lasso tool. Now, sometimes when you are to edit a picture, click on your zoom tool. The zoom tool, you can use Z. Click on Z. Now, when you click on Z, we have zooming. This is you can see that the zoom has minus. It will be reducing it, but you can click on plus to increase it. Now, you can click on your backspace to toggle the tool, change it to hand to drag, click and drag, or you can click on your hand tool here to drag, hand tool to drag. Now you click on your Z or zoom tool again, and or Z to zoom in so that you can see the picture very well and you can see what you want to edit very well. So now, for example, I have this now. So now pictures are made up of pixels. So I'm trying to do some editing work. Hold down your uh, backspace on your keyboard and click to drag. So immediately you remove the backspace, it changes back to the tool that you are using. Sometimes you must zoom it very well so that you can be able to work very well on the picture. So once you got to the page, you can. So that's how you have to. So most of the tool you will be using, photographers also use this lasso tool to make some selection, and so you have to work. You have to take your time on this. Once I show you all the tool, I expect you to work more, design, edit a lot of pictures, change the background. So the assignment for you will be working on some of the features where you want to use this tool to do some editing. So now let's say for example, I mistakenly click here and I don't want it to. So you can click on backspace to delete the last selection. Backspace on your keyboard to delete the last selection. So you have to experiment all these things that I'm telling you how. So that now you become a master when you practice this often and often. Professionality is not a day job. You have to do it on and on. But make sure whenever you want to edit picture, make sure the picture is zoom. So because if it's not zoom, you won't be able to edit it very well. For example, let's say I want to use this picture somewhere else and I don't want the background to appear. So this is how you are going to edit the picture. Okay, and I'll come down here. I can come down. To toggle the two to hand spacebar on your keyboard so that you can use hand to move to drag. Click and drag with your once the tool is toggle, click your left button on your mouse to drag, click and hold it down and on like that. So you become master when you practice. You practice all these things that I'm talking about. Please and please, you don't just do you start from basic pictures that are plain to pictures that are hard. Now, when you have plain pictures, I've still talked about other tools that you can use that has a picture that has a plain background. You will not need to go through all this stress. Why we are using this is because the picture does not have a really too plain background. So you must take it to the beginning and join it. Join it. Now you can use your zoom tool, zoom, zoom minus. Now you can see the selection now. Then make sure you click on the layer. Then you can Control X or edit cut. Control X. Consider that. Then edit, paste. Now then I will delete the layer or hide the layer. Now you can see how plainly I was able to. Now once you are done with the editing, with the changing of the editing of the picture, cutting out the picture, the next thing you are supposed to, of course, this is not a perfect job. This is not a perfect job as it were because I still have some stuff here that I can edit under the armpits here. So let me go over it and do some editing, more touching stuff on this. What brought us to this is you can click on delete key, select, deselect. What brought us to this picture editing is simply our tool, our lasso tool. I'm just showing you because you always use them whenever you I always want to click to make the session a little bit too short. You always make use of them. Of course, this is not perfect. You can see when you zoom in, you see it's not perfect. Select, deselect. I can do a more reselect. Okay, I can do now I can do more of reselecting some part of this stuff. Now, what you need to know is that you can see some notes here. The pictures are made up of pixels. Pixels, they are dotted lines. Select, deselect, zoom. You can use your Alt to toggle your zoom as well. Zoom plus, zoom minus. Now, me looking at this, this is still not perfect to my, but at least for beginners, this looks perfect. But to my taste, this is not perfect. There are other things, there are other pixels that needs to be removed, which you can click select, deselect, Z or toggle in. Okay, I think this ear side is still not perfect. Okay, let's say I'm okay with this now. Okay, now this is my picture. Now for me to do any other thing on the picture, if I want to resize it, I have to first convert it to a smart object. Why? Why do I need to do that? If I resize it without converting to a smart object, the picture will keep losing its quality because I have unloosed it before by converting it to a layer by rasterizing the layer. So when I have to first convert it to a smart object for it to retain its quality. You can see. So I can just put this like this and say I'm okay with this, I'm fine with this. Now another thing that I want to do is this. Now let's assume this picture, I want to do some more editing on this picture. I want to fade part of this picture. I'm turning it to a design already now. I'm turning this picture to a design already now. I want to fade the downside of this picture. Now, towards the there's what we call layer mask. Now, at the bottom left corner, you see functions, layer mask. Make sure the layer is selected. Click on layer mask. You can see a box is added here. Then we have what we call gradient tool here. Now, when you click on gradient tool, the color changes here. Something happen here. But what you need to do is just click on D. When you press D, the color comes back to the black and white, the original. You must use black and white here. Come back here. You can see it's only white. You have to change part of the color to black. Change one portion of the color to black. Stay on this. Then make sure this gradient tool is selected. Click and drag. Just click and drag on the picture. You can see some part of the picture is fading already. So you will have seen designs like this. You'll have seen designs like this. Picture fading design. There are other tools, but this is one of the best tools that I use most often. Layer mask, using layer mask, fading part of the pictures. Then I can do some write-ups. Yesterday we talked about text, but we didn't finish it. I'll change the color. Don't forget that part to black. And I will do some writing. Design with Photoshop. Now I'll click on OK. You can duplicate layer by pressing. Now look at this. This design with. I want to duplicate this text. You can use Ctrl J, or you can go to layer, duplicate layer. Now it will give you a name. Remember, we can name all our layers with Photoshop. I want to use Photoshop as the name. It all depends on me. They are both text. I can double click on it. Don't forget your way of selection yesterday. Double click on the text. Double click on the text. Then go back to the font family. I want to use Chiwa. Now I can change the content to Photoshop. Now I want to do some more professional work on this. T for text. You can activate your keyboard with your T. Design with Photoshop. Now I want to make this a little bit design with Photoshop. T for text. Make sure the layer you are working on is selected. I'm reducing the size. Design with Photoshop. So I want to change the color here. Now to the right, double click. I want to add some effect to this Photoshop. Now we have different type of we have Benview and embossed effects. We have you may not be able to see it because of the color, because the linear dodge and the color they are using is still the same as this. But I think we can add stroke effects. Let me remove this. Now change the color of the stroke. That's just like we are having outline. Let me use which color will be more visible. Let me use something here. So you have this. You can increase the size. You have this Photoshop. You can resize the outline. It depends on what you want to do with it. Okay, design with Photoshop. Now there's what we call shadow. I want to drop a shadow. Drop shadow. You can see I have shadow on it. I can increase the size of the shadow. I can increase the spread. I can increase the distance. It depends on how I want it. But I'm going back to my stroke. I don't like this stroke. Then I can change the fade type to gradient stroke. You can see I can change the color of the gradient to because my text is in black. Black will not be suitable too. So I can choose another color. I can choose another color. I think I'm pleased with this now. Then on and on like that, we have overlay that gives you a lot of design color. Now I can choose another overlay. These are ways by which you can walk around with your Photoshop, and do design something that really worth it. So I'm gonna I think we've done some things today. We've worked around design with Photoshop. So we've used this tool. To keep the video short so that you can practice and it won't be too long for you. I will stop the class right away now. And in the next class, I will be talking about this Magic Wand tool, the crop tool, and some other tools here. And you do a similar thing. Don't forget you can save your work. But I'm exporting this for you. Export for web, save for web legacy. Make sure it actually depends on the size. I'm saving this really well. I will send it to WhatsApp so that you can use it as a sample on a desktop. Photoshop class 2. Okay, that's save. I can save your document. Save document. It will ask you where you want to save it. You can save it inside my document. Uh, photo edit. So it will save it with PSD file so that you can come back to it and work with it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next class.